On this, I'm delighted to say Joe Siracusa joins us now from Curtin University in Australia. He's inaugural Professor of Global Futures. Joe, thanks for your time, as always. Not quite sure where to start here, but let's go domestically. He has lowered immigration, Donald Trump, but he has tackled wokeism. Both of those appear to be popular, but prices appear to be going up. Is it the economy that may in the end be his downfall?
Oh, yeah, I think it's the affordability of life in the United States. Look, you can talk all you want about tariffs, like sanctions and embargoes and the rest, and say, hey, this is going to make us rich again, but we're going to have to take some pain in the short term. The truth is 68% of the American people live from paycheck to paycheck. Aaron, there ain't no short term. These people are going to get hit at the gas station, petrol station. They're going to get hit at the grocery store. They're going to get hit at Christmas presents, whatever it is. I mean, it's nonsense. Look, Trump's popularity has if he were a television show, gee, that's not hard for us to imagine. He wouldn't be getting renewed, as a matter of fact, because he's lost his consumer confidence since January. 32% of the consumers have given him a negative sign, and he's not doing very well with these undocumented immigrants, and he's not this tariff policy. I mean, he's annoyed America's nearest neighbors. I mean, Mexico and Canada are deeply ingrained in the American market, and he's insulted everybody in all these places. I mean, returning the Liberal Party yesterday was one of Trump's tricks that he never planned on doing, as a matter of fact. And you know, in terms of domestic policy, and I'm going to include here his failure to stop the killing in Gaza, which is not only a crime, but it's an existential moral problem too. He hasn't stopped the killing in Ukraine. He hasn't. In terms of foreign policy, he deserves kind of a D minus. In terms of domestic policy, he deserves a D, maybe a D plus, because some Americans approved what he was doing in the beginning. But let me tell you, when they found out that they had $50,000 or $100,000 less to spend in their retirement, they were very angry with him. And he's surrounded by people who are picking fights they can't win. Elon Musk comes along and he fires tens of thousands of people and says they weren't really doing their job. And then he has a fellow and a couple people in the Department of Justice who are trying to bankrupt Harvard by saying that Harvard's not doing the job. You know, in my long life of following American politics, Aaron, there are two things you don't mess with. You don't mess with the Olympics, and you don't mess with the higher education, because you can't win those things.
Well, he's certainly trying to mess with countries around the world with his foreign policy. He's tried to suggest he'll do land grabs in Greenland, in Canada, the Panama Canal, not to mention cozying up to Vladimir Putin. Is it an incoherent policy, Joe? Is this just more examples of what his administration call flooding the zone? That is just to throw things out there seemingly at random to try and distract from what he's really up to?
Well, I think the idea of us trying to make sense of what he's doing, it seems to me a bit rich, because he doesn't really know what he's doing. He's just lurching from one idea to another, and he's surrounded by, well, what he calls them, he doesn't call them, but he calls other people, they're whack jobs. They don't know anything about tariffs. Tariffs came and went 100 years ago. He doesn't know how to deal with a lot of things, and manufacturing only represents 9% of American GDP, and the idea of sacrificing services and tourism and international students to save 9% of the economy, is frankly nuts. So, but he's not making any sense. And sooner or later, keep in mind, if he were a parliamentary democracy, he would be gone by Monday morning. He'd suffer a spill because he'd have a loss of confidence. And he's of course leading by executive orders based on national emergency, and nobody believes that. It's a story that's going to come to an end. Now, Donald Trump will go away, but he's done terrible damage to all kinds of people, all kinds of groups in America, for which I think he will not be forgiven for a long, long time. But look, I think his time is about over, because you can sell snake oil all you want, but when it doesn't work, it just doesn't work. Everybody can see that none of this stuff is working at all. Yeah, well, they say we get the politicians we deserve, Joe, but I'm not sure that's the case for all of the American people. We'll have to leave it there. I appreciate you joining us, as always, on the NewsHour. Okay, thank you.